6'2", tall, agile, technical ability out of this world, and excellent decision making in front of goal. He can play as a traditional number 9 or drop deep as a false 9. Hugo Ekitike isn't just good, he is special. He has been compared to Thierry Henry and David Trezeguet, and honestly the way he moves, it makes sense. After wrapping up deals for Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez, Liverpool turned their attention to one major signing, and that was a striker. Their top target is still Alexander Isak, but Hugo Ekitike's name refused to go away. And then it happened. News broke out that Newcastle were trying to bring him back to the Premier League, and that changed everything. Liverpool couldn't sit back. They couldn't risk missing out on a forward who ticks every single box: the data, the eye test, the potential. So what did they do? They hijacked the deal. Liverpool called Frankfurt and told them, "We will pay whatever it takes." After a week of tense negotiations, they agreed to a deal. 69 million upfront and 10 million in add-ons for the 23-year-old Frenchman. Some are calling it an overpayment, but those who have watched Ekitike closely enough know that he could be one of the signings of the season. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why Hugo Ekitike has the quality to dominate the Premier League at Liverpool, even if Isak was to also join. I've followed this kid since his Reims days, back when Newcastle first came in for him, and trust me when I say the hype over this guy is real. I genuinely believe Hugo Ekitike has the potential to be one of the best strikers on the planet, and these are 5 key attributes that I believe he will bring to Liverpool. Let's start with what I believe is his most valuable trait, and the one thing that Arne Slot is going to fall in love with immediately, and that is his elite movement and positioning in behind. Ekitike isn't your typical striker. He's not someone who just waits inside the box hoping for service. He's fluid, he's intelligent, and he's constantly rotating with wingers and the attacking midfielders. He can drop deep like a false 9, link up the play and then spin in behind. He can drift wide, pull centre backs out of their position and create space in the channels. But his real superpower is those perfectly timed runs in behind the backline. He reads the game like a seasoned veteran. His off-the-ball IQ is seriously so impressive. I'm not even exaggerating. He doesn't just run, he bends his runs at times to make sure he stays on side, and then bang, he's clean through on goal. Once he's past you, no one's catching him, and with his clean ball striking and composed finishing, he usually buries his chances. Now, compared to what we've been used to in Darwin Núñez, that is completely on the different side of the spectrum. Darwin has been offside on many occasions, so many wasted runs. With Ekitike, Liverpool fans will feel like they're watching something completely new, a forward who knows when to run, where to run, and why it matters. And this is exactly why Arne Slot will rate him so highly. Last season, we saw how much Liverpool's attack clicked when the forwards were Diogo Jota or when the forward was Luis Diaz. That is when Liverpool were playing truly at their best, when they had a bit of dynamism in that front line with intelligence and intent. His movement doesn't just benefit Hugo Ekitike, it opens up lanes for other players. Now imagine Florian Wirtz or Dominic Szoboszlai making runs off him. It creates chaos amongst the defenders and a lot of space for his teammates. Slot wants forwards who are unpredictable, multi-dimensional, who can press aggressively and think 2 steps ahead. Ekitike doesn't move for the sake of it, he moves with purpose. And for someone that's still just 23 years old, that level of tactical maturity is very rare in a young striker. Moving on to the next point, let's talk about my favourite part of his game, and it's the reason why I genuinely believe he is special. His link-up play and his technical ability. That is what separates him from nearly every striker in the game right now, especially in his age range. Ekitike isn't just about goals, it's about how to build up the play with his teammates. He's like a modern day Roberto Firmino or Karim Benzema, a Firmino 2.0 for Liverpool, you could say. Most strikers his size just wait in the box, try to use their frame and their aerial ability, but that's not Ekitike. He's comfortable dropping into midfield, picking the ball up on the half turn and linking up the play beautifully with his teammates. At 6'2", you'd expect raw physicality, but what you get instead is elite technical quality, and that is rare, very rare for a tall striker. Even Darwin Núñez is tall, but you can see he lacks that technical quality. He lacks that ability to just be stable with his feet. And Ekitike is completely the opposite, and that's what Liverpool Liverpool need right now, especially when you're facing a deep block where the space is very limited. You need to be quick, sharp. The football needs to be precise, and Ekitike thrives in those situations. His first touch is clean. He can collect the ball under pressure, turn his man, make runs into space. He can flick it onto Salah if needed, bounce it off to Wirtz, lay it off to Alexis McAllister, and that's the type of movement we need from our striker. He can even just get the ball, turn on it, and really dribble towards the defenders. He's so fast with the ball at his feet, it's ridiculous. A striker that's quite similar to what he is Diogo Jota, who RIP to him, but he was also very fast with the ball at his feet. Ekitike's got the tricks, the flair, the weight of pass, and the composure to keep Liverpool's tempo alive, even in the most congested areas, something which was very rare with Darwin Núñez because his touch was so inconsistent. Sometimes it would be brilliant and sometimes it would be so bad. Under Arne Slot, Liverpool's system is all about fluidity. Wingers can be inside sometimes they can be outside. The fullbacks can be overlapping, sometimes they'll be underlapping, and most importantly, sometimes the striker is inside the box and sometimes he's in the midfield to collect the ball for his teammates, and that's Ekitike. He can drop deep when needed to let Salah and Wirtz run in behind. He can hold the ball up using his strength, and he has the vision and timing and weight of pass to be able to find those tricky passes into his forward players. He's not just a finisher, he's a connector, a technician, and he is tailor-made for Arne Slot's system. And that moves me on to the next point. The difference between a good striker and a great striker, and that is all in the decision making. And this is exactly where Hugo Ekitike stands out. Most young strikers are impulsive, they're very erratic in front of goal, and you could say the same for Darwin Núñez. For all of his qualities, he has struggled just being calm in front of goal. He's very erratic, but Ekitike is just different. He's calm, he's calculated, and he's usually clever. When he's through on goal, he doesn't panic, he scans the situation. Sometimes he'll sweat it into his teammates because he knows his teammates have the better opportunity, and other times he can be selfish. He can be in front of goal and bury it into the top corner. He uses that last second intelligence to break teams down, and that's what Liverpool need right now. And the other thing is that transitions are still a huge part of Liverpool's DNA, something that we've got from Klopp's legacy into Arne Slot's legacy. And Ekitike is extremely fast and he's very good in his decision making on transitions. He's not just a finisher, he's a problem solver. He understands where the space is. Is it better to pass to his teammate? Is it better to make the run himself? And that is so important in a team who really flourishes on transitions. But it's not just on the ball where his decision making shines. Here's another important point. He is very good off the ball. He is very sharp. He understands pressing systems. He comes from a very good system at Frankfurt, so he knows when to press. He knows how to block passing lanes, which is extremely important for Arne Slot's striker. And he doesn't take unnecessary risks. He doesn't shoot from silly angles, or he doesn't try to do something for the highlight reels. He does it for purpose. That means fewer turnovers, more control, and better rhythm in attack for Liverpool, especially against low blocks who are continuously looking to find transitions against you. If your striker's giving the ball away easily, trust me, you are getting transitions going the other way. Arne Slot is trying to move Liverpool away from that chaos and have more balance, a more precision-based attack. Ekitike definitely helps achieve that. He keeps the ball moving, he makes smart choices, he elevates the players around him, and most of all, you can trust him. You can trust that he's going to make the right call. You can trust that his first touch is going to be excellent. And that kind of decision making at his age is a big reason why I see Liverpool having huge long-term value in Ekitike, that even if they signed Alexander Isak, they wanted Hugo Ekitike regardless. And now let's talk about his physical profile, because Hugo Ekitike is built for the Premier League, and I'm not saying that lightly. He's tall, he's strong, he's athletic, but what makes him special is that he's not clumsy with the ball at his feet. He is extremely technical with the ball at his feet. Some of the touches you're going to see, some of the dribbles you're going to see, you're going to think, how is this tool of a player doing the things that he is doing? The funny thing is, he can actually hold his own in a physical battle. I don't think he's amazing guy. He's not like a Harry Kane who can really hold his man off. I think he tries to stay away from his man, not get too close into a battle. But if he needed to get into a battle, I think he can win them. And we all know how physical the Premier League is. The defenders are aggressive, they dominate in the air, and they don't hesitate to fly into tackles. So Ekitike is definitely going to have to learn how to navigate that. But from what I've seen, he doesn't need to get into those contact battles. because if it happens, he's ready. He's got that strong upper body strength. But he doesn't need it. He's so fast that no one can catch him anyway. His running style is long gliding strikes. He actually reminds me a lot, like I said, of Henry or Kylian Mbappe with the way he runs. He looks like he's jogging, but he's actually faster than everyone else on the pitch. And that can help him really stretch the pitch for Liverpool. If he's getting in behind and that ball's going over the top, trust me, the defenders are not catching him. And if they do, it's already too late. He also adds something that Liverpool don't have consistently up front. I think that's a bit of aerial presence. With that height that he has, he's going to be good in the air. And whether that's something that he learns, it's definitely something that Liverpool can bring into their game plan. When you think about it, Cody Gakpo and Hugo Ekitike are two massive attackers. Sometimes you might see Alisson going long and Ekitike wins the ball in the air and Gakpo's running in behind. It gives Slot more systems to attack opposition teams with. Let's end with the one skill that every great striker needs, and that is finishing. And trust me, the numbers don't tell the full story about Hugo Ekitike. There's been a lot of noise about Ekitike's underperformance in his expected goals, and sure, on paper that raises questions. But if you actually watch him and not just skim through the stats, you'll see a striker who's usually calm, who's usually quite clinical in front of goal. Ekitike isn't a volume shooter. He's not the type that's going to take 10 shots a game and hope one goes in. What he is though is an intelligent mover, someone who constantly finds himself in the right areas, in the right moments, and finishes chances with composure. One of his standout traits, and that reminds me of another French striker like Olivier Giroud, is his first time finishing. Low crosses to the edge of the box, he meets them first time. Loose balls in the 6-yard box, he knows exactly where to be. Instinctive flicks at the near post, that is his game. And with players like Kerkez and Frimpong really making a lot of overlaps and firing crosses into the box, that movement will be a real weapon. But what I love most about him is how eager he is to attack the box. Even when he's dropped deep to help build up the play, he gets himself in between the defenders. He's constantly making runs and they're never sure where to track him. He makes late arrivals into the area, ghosting in when no one's expecting him, and that is when he is deadly. And the type of goals you see him score, he's got the poacher's goals, the tap-ins, the rebounds. He's got the counter-attacking goals, latching onto passes and slotting it past the keeper. And he's even got headers at the near post and the back post. That kind of variety is what separates a basic striker from a more complete one, because in modern day football, especially at the top level, it's not just about looking dangerous, it's about being decisive. You need to take your chances, finish quickly and maximize every opportunity you get, and Hugo Ekitike will help do that. And now look, as exciting as this signing is, and I am really gassed that we have signed Hugo Ekitike, I don't think it would be fair to ignore the concerns. It doesn't come without risks. For starters, he's still pretty raw. He's not been tested consistently at the highest level. His stint at PSG didn't go well. It was probably a flop, and that might not be all his own fault. And while he impressed at Frankfurt, that was really his first season of sustained success. And let's be honest, PSG is the only club he's played for where expectations come close to what he'll face at Liverpool. And that's a step up for him, a big one. There's also a bigger squad question. If Liverpool are still in for Alexander Isak after signing Hugo Ekitike, is that too much? Could that money have been better spent somewhere else, in the midfield or in centre-back? It's a fair concern, especially when you're talking about a player that's been signed for 80 million. But let's put it into perspective. This isn't a panic buy. Liverpool have had their eyes for Ekitike for a while, especially after the breakout season that he had. The analytics team love him, his data is off the charts, the potential is extremely high, and what he brings to the team, the physical presence, the intelligent movement, the technical brilliance, these are qualities Liverpool need in their forward line. He's just 23 years old, he's already the main man in the Bundesliga, and most importantly, he fits Liverpool's system, he fits Liverpool's vision, and with the right environment around him, I genuinely believe he could explode next season. Now, is this a guaranteed success? No. At this price, is it a gamble? Probably. But when you look around the market, comparing value, profile and long-term upside, Ekitike might just be the best striker signing the Liverpool could have made, except for Alexander Isak, who they are still after. If the club sees him as a long-term project with elite potential, not just a short-term fix, then the move makes complete sense. But if they expect him to immediately lean the line and fire us to the title alone, then it's a gamble, and one that might just pay off. That's the risk. But with the right coaching, which we've seen Arne Slot has, patience and belief, Hugo Ekitike could become the complete modern day 9 that Liverpool need. So if you enjoyed this breakdown about Hugo Ekitike, make sure to drop a like, comment your thoughts on Ekitike down below, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know whenever I upload. More videos are coming soon. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.